All right, everyone, we're back with more severe weather coverage right now. So a little update since I was last on the show. We have another severe thunderstorm warning issued for Dodge, Dooley, Pulaski, and Wilcox counties. That one just got issued, will be up until 7:15. We're talking about winds that, let's see, where did my thingy go? I was on it in the National Weather Service. So yeah, we're talking winds of 60 miles an hour, hail upwards to an inch. These little line of storms that have formed a little couplet down here. I'll get the pointer out so you can see what I'm talking about. Right here, stretching from all the way at Cochran down to Cordele, going through Pineview, Hawkinsville. This has formed some pretty strong and substantial hail signatures when I first started looking at it, and you can still see the hail is rather large with this, and the swaths are covering a large area right there. So we're talking over an inch in diameter now. This is about quarter-sized hail, and this is moving through the most intense part of this line of lightning that you can kind of see. I would say rain, but you can hardly see it on this radar right now with the presence of these. So again, Bleckley, Dodge, Pulaski, this is the northernmost box until 7:15, and then the southern box, Dodge, Dooley, Pulaski, and Wilcox, has been issued in a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So once again, part of a long line of storms that has been stretching across the area for this afternoon. The good news is most of the northern half of our viewing area should be in the all clear for the remainder of today and experience a more pleasant feeling next couple of days as well, depending on where that front does stall on out over. But right now we are seeing some residual storms in Upson County around Thomaston, but that is just merely bringing some rain. We're not talking about anything severe like we are down here. So we'll pull up the wind parameter right here. Let's see where the most centermost area of wind is right there. Always forget to turn this warning box off. I apologize. Right here, 69-mile-an-hour winds. So I think that's the highest we've seen today right now. So we're talking 70-mile-an-hour winds with in the strongest point of this storm in Pulaski County right now, just to the north of Pineview right there. So I'll take these off right here, and you can see that little yellow couplet that I just clicked on down here. Where the lighter colors are, right to the north of Pineview on the Pulaski County, Wilcox County line. That is the area of intense winds right now. We're talking around Highway 112 moving east towards Highway 129 rather, and all of these lighter colors are the stronger winds right here, but we are really seeing it right here, not on the -2. Don't know why it just did that. Let me erase that. Maybe I clicked a different one. I was a little bit further away. Oh, and there goes that little signature I was looking at. So maybe that's what it was. The radar was just updating, but I still imagine this is a little bit of a gray area on our radar. 70-mile-an-hour winds is what I have seen, and that is not out of the normal for these severe thunderstorm warnings at all. I mean, even last week, we did see some of them get up to about 80 miles an hour. So let's kind of show you where all this line and hopefully the last of our weather today is headed. So let's break it down piece by piece right here. That's not what I want to click on. Okay, right here. So you can still see some stuff lingering in the Macon County area, even up into Peach County, around Houston County. These are still some strong thunderstorms. Once again, you should not be outside. If you see lightning, you hear thunder, you hear these heavy downpours, or even or hear the effects of these strong winds blowing rain against the side of your house or windows or anything like that. Still seeing a lot of rain around Dooley County as well. Chris County got a lot of that tail end of what we are seeing right now, but you can almost not even see the rain right here. I mean, all of this lightning, lots and lots of lightning. So that's what I'm going to turn my focus to in just a second. And then you can still see it stretch all the way up here around Dublin into Lawrence County, moving on out of Johnson County and getting on into Treutlen County as well. But this will continue to move in this easterly, southeasterly direction, kind of where my arrow's going. And that will move on into areas like Telfair County, like Wheeler County, Montgomery County, Treutlen County, and then the southern edges of Lawrence County, and then the eastern edges of Dodge County. So this is packing quite a punch right now. If you do live anywhere in Dodge County where this rain is starting to move on into, please seek shelter, as these storms are very, very damaging winds and are producing a very large spread of hail right here as this diameter. So the worst hail seems to be just to the south of Hawkinsville in Pulaski County, around the Wallace area, getting up into Gooseneck, and it is continuing to trek towards areas like Eastman, for one, in Dodge County, and then other areas like Plainfield, Dubois, Dodge County High School, Godwinsville, Chauncey, and will continue to trek in that general direction. And then another, I believe that box was down here. Yes, so other areas, Abbeville, Rhine, even Rochelle, you're going to see the effects of this rain that is not necessarily in this box, but other areas like Pineview are really getting absolutely hammered right now with all of this rain and wind and all of this lightning as well, and even the hail. I mean, here's the newest hail signature right here, and you can still see at the centermost point just to the east of Finlayson on the Pulaski County, Wilcox County line, 1.2 inches in diameter. So you're getting up to about what we call ping pong ball sized hail now. So that is something that you will definitely not want to be outside for if you are in any of these areas right over here around Highway 129, moving to Highway, I believe that's 230 right there. Highway 341 as you cross into Dodge County in the Eastman area especially. This is what's headed your way right here, and this is packing quite the punch in terms of severe weather parameters. Let's see if I can get any wind as well right here in the lighter colors. Let's see what this one is. Always forget to do this, I apologize. Right here, 66 mile an hour winds is what we're talking, and I think it just updated right there. Let's see, 28, I don't believe that is accurate. Yeah, so some of the colors just updating with the newest radar right there, but 66 mile an hour winds, I believe that is the correct number right there, and winds well above severe criteria of 58 miles an hour, really packing the punch right there. So moving into the Dodge County area right now, Eastman, Chauncey, Cadwell, even going to see the northern edge of this first severe thunderstorm warning, and stuff coming in from northern and Lawrence County. Dublin seeing widespread thunderstorms, Dudley as well, kind of moving on out of Dudley by now, but around that I-16 area of the 3Ds in Lawrence County right there. So lots and lots of lightning. Like I mentioned, you can honestly not even see the rain right there. I wonder, actually I can take the lightning off right there. So there you go, widespread rain right there, and that is very indicative of heavy downpours. As I mentioned throughout the day, the four effects you are going to see with these severe thunderstorms are going to be heavy rains, damaging winds, small to large size hail like we are seeing right now, and then heavy downpours. So a busy afternoon all over central Georgia, and it is continuing into the evening hours tonight as we're at 6:45 right now. These two severe thunderstorm warnings are for the next 30 minutes, but anywhere in here, if you have not already, take shelter, bring pets inside, and secure loose furniture outside. Areas like Eastman that aren't necessarily in the rain right now or in any of the effects, but I would say everyone that is within these boxes, you will need to be inside as you ride these storms out. It is going to be a little bit until they are over. They have gone and passed through most of central Georgia already, but this is probably the most intense that I have seen associated with hail, associated with wind so far. Definitely the strongest of the day, and that hail signature is very widespread, almost all over the Pulaski County corridor right there. And it's good to see that go tick down right there, maybe below an inch right there, but we know very well with all the instability and all the fuel we have with these storms today in terms of moisture, that these storms can keep on going and they can continue to pop up as they go to some of these areas over here towards the southeast that haven't seen any of the rain today and are very warm and very moist. Let's look at some comments right here. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning here in Cochran. Thundering here in Upson County. Yeah, Upson County, you're seeing some of those residual thunderstorms. We're not talking anything severe. Still don't want to be outside for them, though. Just not very pleasant. Anything from Bon Air, Warner Robins area in the near future? No, that has since moved on out of the Houston County area. Once again, areas further up to the north and to the west, you still could see some thunderstorms pop up as we roll through the evening hours, but that initial line of the most severe weather is gone through some of these counties, like up here in Monroe and Bibb County and Jones County. All of these areas are just experiencing residual thunderstorms and showers up there. So if you are in any of these areas around the Dodge County, Pulaski County, and southern Bleckley and Wilcox as well, I would love to hear your comments about some of the effects that you are observing with these very, very severe thunderstorms, as I am continuing to look at all these hail signatures and all the winds with these. And I believe that the strongest winds are starting to move into the Eastman area right now in form of that gust front that just passed through. But the leading edge of this rain, both of these warnings kind of mushing together, if you will, right around Eastman and central Dodge County. But all areas around here, all of Dodge County, all of the southern edge of Lawrence County into Wheeler counties and Telfair counties are going to experience the effects of these severe thunderstorms eventually, just maybe not as severe as we're seeing right now. Hawkinsville, an area very concerning with all of the rain and the lightning I'm seeing here, that already got kind of hammered with stuff, but other areas seeing this very large hail. We're talking about almost up to ping pong ball sized hail, excuse me. I've been talking a lot today. And also getting on up into the quarter range. So once you get up to an inch in diameter for this hail, that is severe level hail. We can see it right there at the centermost point of probably the most intense point of this storm, moving on into the Eastman area and Dodge County High School as well. So please take shelter, and please proceed with caution if you are outside or do see these storms approaching. Please stay updated with me here until I let you know that you have the good enough to go outside and continue with any evening activities that you do have. But we're talking about these storms probably for the next hour or two that are going to linger throughout central Georgia as that front continues to trek through and provide an organized line for all of these storms to continue to pop up with our instability today. See lots of comments about no power and such. Oh yeah, we just, on the 6 o'clock show, if you did watch, we just did a very large, widespread effect of power outages in the area. I imagine it's very widespread. Georgia Power is going to be very busy this evening, so that is going to be another thing. Down trees, we're talking power lines, obviously just good enough to damage any outdoor property that you do have as well. I haven't had a chance to look at the Weather Network to see any photos that have been shared on Facebook, but I know that these are the effects with these storms, as they are very similar to what we saw last week, and even a little bit more intense in nature, I must say, especially with this storm right here. So winds blowing into Eastman now, that leading edge of these storms. I wish we had a camera down there or something so I could give you a in-person idea of it. But if you live down there, you know what I'm talking about, and very, very severe thunderstorms rolling through into the Dodge County area right now. So I know I keep saying very, very severe. I know a lot of you are going to ask about tornadoes. We're not looking at a tornado chance today. This is merely severe thunderstorm criteria, but you still have upwards to about 70-mile-an-hour winds that I have analyzed here on the radar right there. So that is strong enough to do enough damage in itself, even if it isn't a tornado. But treat these like you would any severe weather event, honestly, because they are packing quite a punch this afternoon. I'm going to give you a big overview, kind of see what's going on. You can see all those residual showers and storms behind us over to the western portion of our viewing area. Thomaston, Roberta, Butler, even the Perry, Warner Robins area, probably seeing some showers and a few flashes of lightning from this storm right here. Actually, I have an idea right here. I'm going to flip to the Perry Skycam, and as I switch to it, you will more than likely be able to see the tail end of what is rolling through into the Dodge County area. So once again, I appreciate you all for staying updated with me today. It's been a very, very busy afternoon, and I'm always going to be here to keep you updated whenever I'm working, and I will stay as late or come in as early as I need to be. But your safety is my priority, and I want to keep you updated and know what's coming, especially like what we're seeing with this right here. So here is the Perry sky cam right now, and as you can see, not much, just some very, very dark clouds. The rainfall is very intense with this, so it was a good idea in theory, but I'm going to move back to the radar, which I can tell you the most about what's going on right here. Let's see. Taking a look at some of the comments, I apologize. Right here, let's take a look at the hail once again. Still widespread hail across Pulaski County, even stretching into Wilcox and now getting into Dodge. So this storm isn't necessarily moving the fastest, but that brings me to another good point. I'm going to look at when they issued this warning. Severe thunderstorm warning, Dodge, okay, right here. It was moving east at 15 miles an hour, so now I can give you a better time frame for areas that are going to be affected. Just going to judge this off of, I'm going to do this with the most intense area of right there, and then east at 15 miles an hour, yes, 15 right there. So this is what we're talking about, the most intense areas of this storm. About in the next 5 minutes, Dodge County High School getting on into Eastman around 7:07. That is downtown Eastman right there. Godwinsville around 7:17. Bryant 7:29. Chauncey 7:37. And then Cadwell at 7:49. But I imagine Cadwell's already getting some rain from that area of storms that is moving a little bit more southward through Lawrence County right now. So I believe I just got a new severe weather warning, and continues the severe thunderstorm warning for Bleckley, Dodge, and Pulaski. So that is right there that we just saw. I think they might have revised the box just a tad bit, but that is the northernmost box that we have with these two. So all right, and then the winds, that's what I wanted to take a look at too. So yes, very strong winds. Once again, these lighter colors are going to be your stronger winds. Before I forget, I will turn off the warning first. And 26, it's probably a little bit of a dead area. See up here at Eastman, 53 mile an hour winds up there. So some of these areas already seeing a lot of 50 mile an hour winds. I imagine that's probably even areas that aren't under the most intense rainfall and downpours right now. You're seeing it from the gust fronts that have moved ahead of this. And we can kind of see two of those little outflow gust fronts kind of merging together right there. So this has been the story all day. It will continue to be the story into the evening hours. I imagine probably for the next 2-ish hours, this severe weather will last. As far as for central Georgia, that remains to be seen. Maybe even a little bit earlier, but maybe even a little bit later. So these storms are really just picking apart all of that moisture that we do have present in our area, which will bring me to another point. Let's take a look at the dew points right now. You can see some dry spots all over to some areas that have had their moisture used on up, but that real drier air is moving on in from the northwest and will continue to make its way down into central Georgia, but it will remain to be seen how much it dries us out. Let's see. What do I expect in Soperton? I still expect strong thunderstorms like you kind of are seeing right now, or not necessarily strong, but I do expect this to probably come in and head towards the Treatland County, Soperton area. Any areas that haven't seen any of this rain yet, like Alamo, McRae, Milan, Mount Vernon, Vidalia, all of these areas, you are going to see the effects of this. Maybe some of the southernmost areas like Rochelle, Jacksonville may not get any, but I imagine that you're still going to get a thunderstorm nonetheless. This has been very widespread and hitting basically everywhere in our viewing area thus far today, and it will continue to. How is Macon? Macon is all good right now. Macon, you might see another shower or a residual thunderstorm, but it is looking okay there after we already saw our rain around 5 o'clock today. So lightning all over the place, as you can tell. Once again, if you hear thunder, go indoors. That means you're close enough to be struck by lightning as this rain starts to reach into the downtown Eastman area. Right now, Lights went out, came back on, and are flickering again. Here in Dodge, it's going to be like that. Probably going to have some power outages all over Dodge County, even in Pulaski and Wilcox County as well. If we're getting power outages up here in Macon and Bibb County and other areas, I imagine you guys are going to get the same, if not even some worse effects of it. So much lightning. Yep, I definitely believe that from what I'm seeing on here. That is something you don't want to be outside for. And areas that I have mentioned that are over here towards the east, towards the south, Milan, McRae, Alamo, all these other areas, go ahead and prepare accordingly before these storms get there. Bring your pets inside, stay updated with me as they continue to pass on through, because if you don't want your pets outside in this, you should not be outside by any means whatsoever. So once again, these warnings are for the next about 18 minutes right now, and getting a rumble of thunder here at the station. So as I mentioned, residual thunderstorms all over the place today for areas that have already seen this severe weather roll on through, courtesy of this front that is coming. I will give you the good news. It will be cooler and drier, as I mentioned a couple times already. We're talking still hot weather. I mean, not low 90s, but it's actually going to feel like the low 90s. And I will take that over the upper 90s that feel like they are like 115 degrees, like I think we saw today. I think the highest I saw was for Scythe at 117 earlier today when I came in. So another reminder, if you are not in these severe thunderstorm warnings, does not mean you're not going to see the effects of them. They don't obey these like a fenced-in area. These thunderstorms will pack a punch through all of these generalized areas, but you will still see strong thunderstorm conditions for areas not within this box as well. So I'm starting to see a general trend southeastward in this storm, so maybe moving more towards the Telfair area and the southern portion of Dodge County. There's the wind. I want to keep checking on that because I know that wind has been very, very intense so far. So 55 miles an hour, 49 miles an hour. This is some severe stuff, 54 right there. We're really looking at some very strong winds, and that will continue to be the case as these pop up and hit all this moisture that is down here in the southeast. Vidalia, once again, this is headed in that general direction. You are going to see thunderstorms. Whether it is severe or not remains to be seen, but still prepare accordingly and do not be outside for this or try to drive through any of this whatsoever. Raining hard and windy in Lothair just started. Let's see. South end of the county. I can see some thunderstorms rolling through Vienna. I've been seeing a couple, Vienna, excuse me. I've had a long day. Vienna getting a good amount of thunderstorms already. Not necessarily seeing the strongest amount of thunderstorms like we are over here towards the east and Wilcox and Pulaski, but still seeing some thunderstorms nonetheless that you will want to be inside for. Was that the storm that just left Warner Robins? This was part of the line that was going through the Warner Robins, Houston County area. Centerville is not in the cone. These are for Dodge, Dooley, Pulaski, Wilcox, and Dodge, Pulaski, and Bleckley counties. Just baffled at the amount of lightning associated with this right now. I mean, that is absolutely insane. I'm sure it's an absolute light show with all that in there. I might take another look at the Perry Sky Cam real quick, as I know there's probably, might be able to see how much lightning is going on in there, but it might be so rain-wrapped that we can't really see anything. That is towards the south. Yeah, it's off in the distance there. I can't really see much from there, so I'm just going to go back to the radar. Lots and lots of comments from Dodge County that I'm seeing about these storms rolling on in. Let's take a look at the hail once again. All right, that is a good sign right there. The hail is definitely not as large, but it's still talking about pea-sized ice pellets coming from the sky right now. So this is going to move on into the Dodge County area eventually, I think, but it's kind of just staying right put right there. Leading edge of it is getting into the Eastman area and lots of lightning, but the most intense parts of it have been just hanging out in Pulaski County and northern Wilcox County for quite a while now. Glad it came during the day. Yeah, me too. I'm glad you guys were awake for this, because if this would have woken you up, it would have been taken by storm quite a bit. A little pun there, but all right. So I'm not seeing any updates from the National Weather Service besides continuing these severe thunderstorm warnings, which I think was understood with all of the severity that I'm seeing. They still have an inch hail and they have 60-mile-an-hour winds. This was roughly about 10 minutes ago, so quite a while. I'm going to flip actually over here to see if any EMA directors have talked about all right, I haven't seen anything over there about many damage reports, but I know they're all over the place. I definitely would imagine. So the storm, I'm waiting to get an update on it, kind of just see how fast it's moving, just to give you a general idea of what areas can expect what at certain times right now. But let's see. Last update I have is just a continuance of the warning right now. So I will continue to reiterate these areas that are not necessarily in the swaths of rain and the darker colors that you do see on the radar. It is coming for you, and you will want to go inside and prepare accordingly for this and stay updated here until I tell you that it is all clear to go on outside. Like Houston County seems to be pretty clear right now, just a few showers there, but as well as Macon County actually. But any evening plans you have right now, just interrupt them real quick and stay inside as these storms do pass. I promise they're not going to last forever, but this is something that can pose a threat to your safety, and we don't want anything bad to happen to anyone associated with these severe warnings. Is it over for Wilkinson? Wilkinson looks to be past the most intense part of this, but like I said, can't rule out a thunderstorm or a shower for the rest of the night, as we're seeing some thunderstorms kind of pop up in Crawford County once again. But nothing like this beast down here. I want to see how intense the rain is at the... So yeah, some darker colors, but at least we're not talking about like pink stuff on the radar. That is where, nope, that's not what I want to do. Pink stuff, the pink coloring is probably the most intense form of precipitation that you can get on this radar, at least that I've seen so far. So these two warnings, it looks like they kind of cut a portion off of this top box right here as it moves on into the northern portion of Dodge County. I imagine that they'll probably move some of these areas out of the warning as this continues to move into Dodge County. Still waiting for an update on that. Got an update about continuing this warning down, or actually up here in Bleckley, Dodge, and Pulaski right here. That has continued, and we're talking about hail up to an inch and then winds of about 60 miles an hour as well, but I don't see anything on the hail signatures right now, so that is good news. Hopefully a sign of weakening within this storm, but as I mentioned, plenty of fuel right ahead of it as it continues to pass over these. Is it over for Twigs? Any areas that are to the north of this line, you will still see some thunderstorm activity, some shower activity throughout the evening, but the most intense part of it is over for you. All right, so the part that went into Lawrence County, not looking as severe. I can see some fizzling out on that one as it continues to trek down through into Treutlen County, getting on into the northern edges of Wheeler County and Montgomery counties as well, that line of rain, but it remains to be seen what is going to happen to this portion of intense lightning right here. And I can still see a lot of lightning strikes over in Dooley County as well, around the Vienna area. This is just north of Cordele as well, kind of getting into the Cordele area, all around Lake Blackshear, moving down into Araby, maybe even Rochelle as well. So any areas in kind of this whole circle I'm kind of drawing with my pointer right here, you guys are still going to see the effects of what is going on right now. Maybe not so much towards the south, but that remains to be seen, and more concerned for this area right here. So we're talking about, I'll kind of put the pointers in a little circle right here. So this big area right here, this kind of circle, I'm the most concerned about, because that is where the most intense rain is, and the strongest winds, and some of those hail signatures have still been popping up. So let's go back to velocity and see. All right, so this seems to be the strongest winds just outside of Chauncey right now, 58 miles an hour, so still kicking for severe criteria. The National Weather Service might issue another warning with this, continuing to trek down into Telfair County. We're talking Milan, we're talking McRae, and then getting into Alamo and Wheeler County as well. Slamming over Wilcox. Yes, I'm sure that northern portion of Wilcox is getting absolutely hammered with all this too. So if you are by any chance watching from somewhere that is not inside your home, please take my advice and get inside your home and ride these storms out. That is going to be the safest place to avoid any of these severe weather effects that we're going to see with this. I am happy to see the hail signatures go down, so that is something worth noting. The lightning looks to be disorganizing just a little bit, so hopefully that will continue to be the case as it treks down towards the most southern portions of Dodge County, and then getting on into Telfair and Wheeler as well. So it's really hard to pinpoint the exact location of this, because we have these right here that are moving eastward, it seems to be. You can see these boxes are almost dead east, but then we have this stuff coming in from Lawrence County that's more of a south, or very, very strong southeast oriented storm. So they're kind of combining together, and I'm really interested to see. I imagine they're going to continue to go in a kind of southeast-east direction, probably somewhere in the middle. So wonder if I can actually do, no, not text, whoops. Let's see. Okay, so that's east, and then here is that's probably the direction of those, and then we're talking about these from the north kind of going right there. So I imagine these storms are going to take kind of a course generally like this, this line of storms. It's really hard. Don't pay attention to the miles. I was just using that as a frame of reference for direction. But yeah, that's been the difficult thing. These over here just popped up out of nowhere, and that's kind of been what's been happening. It'll form a long, organized line of storms like we're seeing right now, and then they will fizzle on out, but then more activity will start going towards the south of it. So, and that they will start out as tiny little thunderstorm couplets, and then they will continue to intensify after that. Let's go ahead and erase these. Get on into the hail once again. Now seeing some hail over here in northern Crisp County. So right north of Cordele, we're talking about half an inch, even 0.7 inches. So getting on up to the severe level criteria of an inch in diameter, but still we're talking about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. That's roughly about the size of a nickel right there. Special weather statement issued for Lawrence, Dodge, Telfair, and Wheeler right there. Just got issued, so let's go back on over to that. And I believe that is this over here. yeah, this kind of whole section right here. So not necessarily severe criteria, but the National Weather Service has indicated 50-mile-an-hour winds associated with this portion of the line of storms right here. Let's go on back to these, and you can see the lightning not quite as widespread anymore, not really seeing lots and lots of white. They're getting more gray, which means they were a while ago, but still the areas of most intense rainfall still lingering in Pulaski, Wilcox, and moving on into Dodge. So that is kind of crazy how long it's just really been staying there and kind of been stationary. But holy winds, look at this. Right here around Chauncey, I mean, this is 63-mile-an-hour winds. 64, I mean, it continues to just tick on up right around that 60-mile-an-hour mark, and that's moving into the McRae area, just north. Milan's still seeing a good amount of 50-mile-an-hour winds. So McRae and Telfair County, you're on your way to see the effects of this wind and then the rain that is going to come with it as well. So areas Alamo, McRae, let's see if I can localize it a little bit more down in Telfair County, Scotland, maybe even down to Cedar Park, Towns. You guys are next in the line for this. Avance, Alamo, Jordan, all of these areas, the smaller towns in Telfair and Wheeler counties. This is where the winds are kind of tracking with this line of severe weather right here. So I hope the most intense winds are out of Pulaski and Wilcox and Dodge by now. It's still on this little panhandle of Dodge right here, as you can see, but it's really been in Wilcox and Pulaski for a while, so I'm hoping that that can take a little bit of direction outward of it. So if you want to know what I've been talking about, this cold front that's moving through, here's what I'm talking about. This is the front. It's trekking on in behind these storms right here, and that is pushing an air mass of cooler and drier air into our area. So when I say cooler for the summertime, it's very relative. It really should be called a cool front because it's only going to knock our temperatures down a couple degrees into the low 90s, but also is going to provide relief on the dew points depending on where it stalls out. So that is the main driving force for this right now. All right, and I've just gotten a notification from the National Weather Service. Both of these warnings will expire at 7:30. I believe it's both of these. Yes. So they think that these thunderstorms haven't withheld their severe criteria for long enough anymore, which is a good sign. But I am still keeping an eye on these winds as they move into Telfair right there, that couplet of wind right there. 66 miles an hour, so really getting on up there, or 67. I mean, we're talking about 70-mile-an-hour winds here. I mean, this is like tropical storm force winds associated with these for a frame of reference. I'm going to go back to Cordial over here for just a second. Let's look at the hail. No hail there anymore, so that's good. Hopefully that was just a short-lived thing, maybe even an error with our hail palette right there, but it's looking good in other places. As you can see, things moving in a general eastward direction with this stuff that's acting as residual kind of leftover rain and thunderstorms right now. So let's hope that that is going to be the case for the remainder of the evening, but not out of the woods yet for any of our south and southeastern counties. So getting on into Wheeler County now that rain's getting on over to the Alamo area. McRae might be a little bit behind on the rain right here, but I imagine McRae's seeing the rain. If not, you're definitely seeing the wind because that is where the area of strongest wind is. I imagine maybe even getting up to 70 miles an hour some places. So pretty strong stuff, guys. Just because there's severe thunderstorm warnings, and there we go, those warnings are gone right now. I'm going to stay on regardless because those winds are very concerning, and I would not be surprised if another warning is prompted for Telfair and Wheeler counties as well. I mean, that is definitely above the threshold for severe thunderstorm warnings right there. It remains to be seen right there, but they did issue a special weather statement of 50-mile-an-hour winds. I think it has definitely intensified since then, and hopefully that this is going to be something that is just residual rainfall right now. So it's really been hanging out over here for a while in the Pulaski, Wilcox County region, and moving on into Dodge County. So Dodge County's definitely seen that rain, seen that wind, lots of lightning as well. But the most intense portion of it was probably about right here. I mean, we're talking about, I think, an inch and 1.2 inches in diameter for hail. So that's ping pong ball sized hail right there. And then we saw lots of lightning, even very strong winds of about 60 miles an hour moving through the area, but even topping that now as we move into the Telfair County area. And that's where that is. That could be a radar issue also as well. It's hard to, the further away you get from the radar, the resolution gets a little spottier, but I'm not seeing anything on the National Weather Service chat for issuing anything else, but I think they're going to continue with this special weather statement, which is that one step below a severe thunderstorm warning once again. That means that the conditions are of a strong thunderstorm that could turn severe in nature. I'm actually going to read that real quick and see what they said about this. Strong thunderstorm. Yeah, just indicating 50-mile-an-hour winds associated with that, but I'm going to stay on until I feel like they haven't issued anything in a while, and I think it's merely just going to be thunderstorms. So I hope that is the case for the rest of the evening. That would be nice. I mean, we've had warnings pop up left and right all over the place, stretching from Washington County all the way to Macon County, and I mean, almost everyone's been engulfed in some sort of severe thunderstorm warning today, and I would hope for you guys down here in our southeast corner to not have to experience severe thunderstorms like we did earlier today. Keep wanting to look at these winds. I mean, that's just lots of lighter colors. I mean, I'm very interested to see why the National Weather Service, 69 miles an hour. I mean, I'm very interested to see why the National Weather Service hasn't issued a warning with this, considering these winds are about 10 miles an hour stronger than what we do use to classify a severe thunderstorm. So, but they probably see something I don't. So, I'm here to keep you updated as we go. Thundering in Alamo, it's good to hear. Once again, you're probably going to see rain in Macon, which will be good, but it will not be in the form of severe thunderstorms right here. You can see some of those yellow colors moving in towards the Macon area for some more rain this evening. I'm hoping this most intense part right here continues to fall apart in terms of lightning strikes. I wish I could do something to just only make the lightning strikes go on like every minute or so, but then it'd be popping up just about everywhere. Eastman seeing widespread rain, lightning, and winds, I am sure right now. Hopefully the most intense part is getting on out of there, but it seems to be moving towards the McRae area in Telfair and Wheeler counties. So I like to mix in the bad news with a little bit of good news, so let's go ahead and look at this right here. And as you can see, that is quite a pleasant sight compared to what we have been seeing. And this is obviously what we do have with rain-cooled air at temperatures all the time. But what I really want to look at is the feels like. So this is a good indication of areas that still do have that moisture. Vidalia still having a lot of moisture over there. I imagine the storms are getting on into that area, but this is very pleasant to what we have been seeing over the course of the past couple of days. I mean, we've been talking about, we got 75 here in Macon. We've been talking about almost 50 degrees warmer than that. I think 40 degrees on the dot. We were feeling like 115 up here in Macon earlier, so we will be very happy with this, and I'm hoping that this front can continue to trek out and not completely stall over us, but what I have been seeing on recent model runs, that front is going to continue to make its way down here, it's going to kind of stall out over this region right here. So we're talking about some areas around here, kind of like from right up here over. So all of these areas are probably going to still have some moisture, have the possibility for a shower or a storm over the next day or two. But temperatures are definitely going to be down. And then we're talking about Friday, the front trying to push even further off into the coast and really drying all of us out and experiencing those 60-degree dew points compared to the 70 and 80-degree dew points that we have been seeing. So we're going to hope for the best on that. I'll continue to look at all these different models and try to keep you updated the best I can for it. I'll be on again at 10 and 11. I'm filling in for Ben today as these storms do continue to roll in, and I don't believe we will be quite as active around the 10 and 11 p.m. hours. So it'll be a nice, good forecast, hopefully, that I can give you for once, because I'm tired of telling you guys that you're basically going to melt outside when you walk out. So, and that humidity just giving you a slap to the face. It's not too fun. Vidalia has thunder. Yeah, I imagine that feels like temperature wasn't quite accurate, but it also takes a little bit of time for those rain-cooled temperatures to set in. Lots of disorganization amongst all of this right here in Dodge County. And I'm not seeing anything over here on the National Weather Service chat, so I imagine those winds are probably still kicking it. As you can see, it moving into the Telfair County area right now, but the National Weather Service doesn't seem to be too concerned with this right now. And let me take a look at the hail. That's something yeah, so no hail anywhere that I'm seeing. I might be missing a little speck of it, but that is a good sign. I'm tired of seeing those yellows and getting on up into the greens of over an inch in diameter hail. But the main thing we have had with this concern has been the strong winds, and we have seen that today all over the area. So areas that are seeing these thunderstorms, they can produce some damaging effects with their winds, as I've mentioned multiple times, and it will definitely damage some outdoor property or anything. Definitely blow your pine straw around at the least, but knock some small branches, and then even get up to where it can knock whole trees down and knock power lines down and really contribute to widespread power outages. So I'm going to go ahead and close, I believe. I'll be right here by the computer until these are completely gone. But these do look to be breaking apart, and that is some good news for once. I've been nonstop going at it for probably about the past, I don't even know, I've lost track of time doing this, honestly. But all right, well, let's see. Once again, if something is to pop up in some of these southeastern counties, the National Weather Service doesn't think that these are severe criteria enough, but still expect some strong thunderstorms to roll on in through your area that can produce some damaging effects. So areas like McRae, Milan, Jacksonville, Lumber City, Alamo, Mount Vernon, you guys are going to want to be inside as these storms continue to roll through the evening hours. Not a good night to grill out or anything whatsoever. But if a severe warning does pop on up, I'll be right back up, and I'll be keeping you updated with timing, with everything, and just providing minute-to-minute updates as I see stuff come out on the radar. So yeah, it's been a busy day. Thank you all for tuning in so far, and I really appreciate it, and I really hope that everyone is safe and took some of my advice just to stay inside. These severe thunderstorm warnings pack quite a punch. They may not be tornadoes, they may not be tropical storms, but they have some of the parameters that can do the damage and really cause some of the destruction of both. So hopefully a busy day is over, and I have some more good news to bring you at 10 and 11, but for now I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I will keep you updated on social media or on here on the live stream. So thank you very much.